Today on Sports Central, we'll be going over a college football game preview and prediction on a game coming up in Week 12 of this 2020 season. And that's going to be between Mississippi State and Georgia. Both these teams certainly have big goals still moving into the rest of the season. You got Georgia, of course, on one side. They took a loss to Florida a couple of weeks ago. But I would still say Georgia is in contention to win that SEC East. They just got to run the table and hope Florida ends up taking a loss at some point. But I think Georgia in the end still has got a good chance to win the division. They just have to keep winning. And it's not going to be quite as easy as many expect against Mississippi State, which is a team that's starting to gain back some momentum as well. Mississippi State is not a team to sleep on moving forward, so it's going to be a good matchup for both these teams moving forward. You got Mississippi State, of course. I mean, they're still in contention for a pretty good bowl game, so that's why it's such a crucial one for both these teams. And we'll be going over a full preview and prediction on this one here today, starting out with your team trends. Of course, last game, Mississippi State beat Vanderbilt. 24-17 was the final score there, and both teams did not play in Week 11. They did play in Week 10, though. That's when both these games took place. Georgia lost to Florida, 20-44, to being your final score there. So they did lose by a couple of touchdowns, and all around, that was just a messy game for Georgia. They did not look right in that one. I mean, if you look at the quarterback situation, just did not look right for Georgia. I mean, you got Stetson Bennett at quarterback, who's thrown 6 interceptions already this season. His touchdown-to-interception ratio is 8-6 right now. So all around, it's just been kind of a rough season for Stetson Bennett. And I mean, considering he kind of stepped into the position after Jamie Newman decided that he was going to opt out of the season, it really has not been that bad of a year for him considering those circumstances. But still, I mean, for Stetson Bennett, he's got to play a lot better if Georgia's going to be a national contender. But as for your winning streaks for both these teams, Mississippi State is 2-4 heading into this matchup with a 1-game winning streak after beating Vanderbilt. And Georgia is ranked 13th in the nation right now. They are 4-2 and once again on a 1-game losing streak after losing to Florida a couple of weeks ago. This game is going to be on Saturday, November 21st, 4 p.m. Eastern in Athens. So the Bulldogs will be your home team here. Spread currently says Georgia by 25. So Georgia is heavily favored in this one by the spread. Same thing with the FPI. Is going with Georgia at 94% here. And Vegas prediction is going with a blowout towards Georgia, 37-22 being the final score prediction currently out of there. Here's a stat comparison for this game as well. Mississippi State is really looking pretty rough in this section. You got 16 points per game, 27 points allowed. They also got 303 passers a game, so that's pretty good for KJ Costello, who's been playing pretty well so far. But, I mean, if you look at their rush yards per game, only 21. I mean, the rushing situation for Mississippi State has just been absolutely awful. They've had to rely on KJ Costello so much, and that's the reason why KJ Costello has so many interceptions this season is because, I mean, they've had to rely on him so much, and that's the problem for this Mississippi State team is that they've got no balance there for this team. I mean, you got Marks, who is the Mississippi State main running back, who's only got 131 yards through 6 games. That is an insane stat. Usually you'll see most running backs get that amount of yards per game. So, I mean, yeah, for Mississippi State, it's just been messy in the rushing situation, but KJ Costello, I mean, he's a decent quarterback. I mean, I expected him to be much better than he was or that he has been so far. I mean, he's thrown 6 touchdowns and then 10 interceptions. So he's got a negative touchdown to interception ratio, which is very concerning. He's nearly got a 1-2 touchdown to interception ratio, which is extremely terrible. You usually want to go for a 2-1 or a 3-1, but it's been on the flip side for him. So he's got to improve something there. But I mean, for yards allowed for Mississippi State, they got 232 passing and then 127 rushing. So really, I mean, the Mississippi State defense is not terrible. I mean, they've allowed only 27 points per game, which is pretty good. I mean, especially for a team that's 2-4. For Georgia, you got 29 points per game, 21 points allowed. You got 209 pass yards a game, 173 rush yards. So Georgia's a much more balanced team. And they got 262 pass yards allowed and then 82 rush yards allowed per game. So the rushing defense for Georgia has been excellent all season long, and they're not really going to need the rush defense against Mississippi State considering the Bulldogs really do not run the ball very much. But for Georgia, I mean, it's going to be the passing defense that's going to be put into effect a lot more in this matchup, which Mississippi State, that's really their only area of offense that they've been really playing in. So you got to consider that as well. But I'd still say Georgia is definitely the favorite here as far as the stats go on our stat comparison. Moving on, here's some key points for this one. Of course, Georgia is coming off of a tough loss to Florida. No doubt about that one. I mean, that's always a big rivalry between Georgia and Florida, and that's certainly a pretty degrading loss, losing to the Gators there. But I definitely think Georgia, once again, they still got a good chance, I think, to put up some damage in the SEC East and possibly make a run at the championship. I mean, they are a game down now. Of course, they're a game down to Florida, who is currently the leader of the SEC East, and they control their own destiny to make it to the SEC championship. But for Georgia, I think, I mean, if Florida loses a game and Georgia continues to win, I mean, there's still a chance that we see Georgia win the division. It's going to be tough, and I think the chances of Florida State or of Florida winning the division are probably like 5-1. But I think Georgia still has a chance, but they've just got to keep winning their games. They cannot take any more losses whatsoever. There's no doubt about that, and they just got to hope Florida loses. But for Mississippi State, I mean, they're still in contention for a good bowl game as well. Like, they're definitely not going to make it to the SEC championship by any means. I mean, they're in last in the SEC West right now, but I think Mississippi State still has got talent to be able to make it to a good bowl game. I think Mississippi State, even if they do lose this game, I mean, yeah, they're going to be 2-5, but I still think Mississippi State has a chance to have a halfway decent bowl game if they can just keep winning their games, which there's still a couple weeks left in the season for Mississippi State to do that. We're not quite done yet, but this is just going to be a very crucial game for both these teams for that reason. I mean, for Georgia, once again, you got to keep winning their games if you're going to be a national contender, and then for Mississippi State, I mean, you gotta get to a good bowl game. So this is going to be a big game for both these teams moving forward. And here's what my prediction is. I'm going to go with Georgia in this one. I think your halftime score is going to be 24-10 towards the Georgia side. But I think in the final, we're going to see a semi-blowout from Georgia. I think your final score is going to be 38-20. I'm pretty confident that the Bulldogs win this game. I think Mississippi State, or the Georgia Bulldogs will win it. I think Mississippi State all around is a decent team. I mean, they've got talent there. KJ Costello has shown how talented he has been and how he can be in the past. I just think for Georgia right now, they're all around the better team. They've got a lot more talent. And honestly, even though you got two pretty mediocre quarterbacks here with KJ Costello and Stetson Bennett, I'm definitely more confident in Stetson Bennett right now than I am with KJ Costello. I mean, KJ Costello's thrown way too many turnovers and thrown way too many interceptions for me to be confident in him at this point. So I got to go with Stetson Bennett and the Bulldogs here. And honestly, I mean, even the quarterback situation is still a bit of a mess in Georgia, but I think we just see Georgia get the win by 18. They're going to bounce back from their loss against Florida here and get the win 38-20. Once again, your probability will be 80% towards Georgia. I am pretty confident that we will be seeing the Georgia Bulldogs winning this game. But do let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this one. Let me know your score predictions, all of that down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Then again, guys, thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this preview, drop a like on it, subscribe as well. If you enjoyed it, it really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate that. But as always, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central, and I'll see you all in the next one.